$43 billion. That's the offer on the table as of now.
President Biden is trying to label this Putin's price hike. But most Americans, according to an NBC News poll, are not buying that.
Of course I take responsibility. I'm president.
Oh, the big story of the day is Mr. Elon Musk is offering to buy Twitter outright. Also, people do not believe the Putin price hike story being pushed by the president. Polling numbers out for him are not good at all. The NYC shooter/attacker has been captured. Hunter Biden stuff. Holy cow, we got a big show for you this morning. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live from downtown Phoenix, Arizona. It starts right now.
2, 1.
Here we go.
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually her name, Jobob.
Live from a swanky hotel room in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live on today. It is April 14th, the year of our Lord 2022. New you in 22. It's going to be a big day today. Monumental move by one Elon Musk. If you haven't heard already, he bought a big chunk of Twitter and is now looking to buy the entire thing. Biden poll numbers are continuing to drop. Lowest number he's ever gotten in the Quinnipiac poll. So there's that for the president of the United States. Let me get to this first. This is like the biggest story currently. Elon Musk offered today to buy Twitter with cash. The tech billionaire, founder of SpaceX, Tesla, PayPal, holy cow, a bunch of other different tech firms, offered to buy Twitter for $41 billion. And he has the cash to do it. I think he's at like $200 million now, thanks to Tesla going to the moon, which a lot of people are a little bit confused by, but, you know, is what it is. Elon Musk has the money to do this sort of thing, and he's putting his money where his mouth is. This is from Bloomberg. No, this is Reuters. Elon Musk took aim at Twitter with a $41 billion cash offer on Thursday. With Tesla CEO and Elon, with the Tesla CEO and billionaire entrepreneurs saying the social media giant needs to be taken private to grow and become a platform for free speech. How many people have been put in Facebook jail or Twitter jail or any of your other social media jails? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if that's ever been you. Hasn't been me yet, by the way, which is odd, but I don't know, is what it is. But if you haven't been following the news for the last, 2 years almost? No, year and a half, the former president of the United States is not on Twitter because apparently mean tweets are bad. The Ayatollah is on Twitter. ISIS is on Twitter. The Taliban is on Twitter. Vladimir Putin, who's invading a country right now for the last month and a half, 2 months, is also on Twitter. But the president of the United States can't be on Twitter. Charlie Kirk is currently banned from Twitter. Tucker Carlson is also banned from Twitter. Babylon is banned from Twitter. The massive problem with the free speech thing going on over Twitter has been, well, okay, let's just keep on this theme for a second, give you some more of the statistics. Elon Musk said that Twitter has extraordinary potential. I will unlock it. He says he's already the second largest shareholder. He said in a letter to the Twitter board on Wednesday. The offer was made public in a regulatory filing on Thursday. So basically, if you follow him on Twitter, he tweeted an SEC filing saying, I'm offering $41 billion. Elon's offer price of $54.20 per share, get this, represents a 18% premium on the Twitter stock right now, and represents a 38% premium to Twitter's April 1st close, the last trading day before his 9.1% stake in the social media platform was made public. Twitter stock shot through the roof the day Elon Musk announced that he was buying Twitter or had already bought Twitter. So let's time lapse here. On March 14th, Elon Musk did like a Twitter poll of like, hey, should I start my own social media platform that is more open to free speech? And obviously the votes went through the roof. You can't trust Twitter polls because all of the people that were voting were following Elon Musk. So there's that. But he also then said, should I buy a social media company or should I start a social media company? That same day, according to SEC filing that he filed earlier but was released April 2nd, said that he bought 9% that day, making him the largest stakeholder in the social media platform. I think he's been overtaken since. So fast track to the beginning of this month in April. Then he was offered a board seat on the board of Twitter. He then turned that board seat down after reports said that he will join the Twitter board. When he said they were joining the Twitter board, everyone was like, sweet, he's going to go to the board and make some decent change to the Twitter platform. Then it said he was not going to join the board, and a bunch of people were upset. But then the reason why was made public. If he was on the Twitter board, first things first, he wouldn't be able to tweet out any fire memes that he has on Twitter criticizing the company, because he has a fiduciary responsibility to Twitter shareholders to not demean the company as a board member. He also would have been capped at 14.9% or 15% of his ownership stake. That's the deal that you sign if you go onto the board of Twitter, and other various companies do this too. It's not an uncommon thing. So now that he didn't join the board, we made a real, a couple days ago, I think on Monday, saying that, oh no, it was on Monday. It was on Monday that we were saying, well, since he's not joining the board, he can officially attempt a hostile takeover. And that seems to be exactly what he's doing. Now, there's some interesting components here because company share stock rose 5.3% today at the market open, valuing Twitter at about $43 billion. That's what the offer is. The interesting thing is today, now the Twitter board has to discuss this. They're in a huge pickle, and here's why. Because one of two things could happen. They could either say yes, which would make Elon Musk the sole owner of the entire social media platform, which would be hilarious. So they could say yes and lose everything, effectively. He would go in and clean house, fire pretty much everybody on the Twitter board. Or two, he could announce that he's dumping all of his stock, which would tank Twitter stocks and cause a mass sell-off if they said no. So they either say yes and he becomes the sole owner, or they say no, which then he just dumps all of his stock. The other component is that the Twitter board has a fiduciary responsibility regulated by the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. They're basically obligated to do what's in the objective best interest of their shareholders. So if there's an asking price that is, what is the percentage again? 38% above where they generally settle, that's a pretty good deal for the shareholders. And if they were to say no, I would imagine Elon Musk, being the biggest shareholder, or the second biggest shareholder, would file a lawsuit via the SEC to say, hey, these guys are not acting in the best interest of me, the shareholder. I wish to remove them, or whatever it is that he wants to do. If you haven't already, click one more hot take on this before we move on. Click the little like button, click the little share button. There's a couple thousand of you watching it. I'm seeing the numbers on the screen right now, which, by the way, thanks for watching when we're on the road. We were in Berkeley yesterday doing a rally with Charlie Kirk. Berkeley, yeah, of all places, walking around the campus talking to students, and then also did a rally later at night. And now we're back in Phoenix doing the live show. But appreciate you watching while I'm on the road. I know this is a little bit of a makeshift setup, but anyways, appreciate that. The last take that I want to kind of drive the point home here is, for the last, when did people start getting super censored? Probably 5 years, 2018-ish, when people started getting kicked off all their social media platforms. Obviously, people got kicked off before, but started with like people like Milo Yiannopoulos getting kicked off of Twitter, getting kicked off of Facebook, getting kicked off of Instagram. When all of this started, the entire left of the political left of the United States, when confronted with, hey, what about free speech from the right side, when all of us were saying, hey, what about free speech? What about the culture of free speech? The entire left wing of the media, of people on Twitter, of people online, all of the lefty media said, well, this is a private company. They can do whatever they want. Now, Elon Musk, being the richest man in the world, is taking that idea of, hey, this is a private company. I can do whatever I want, and shoving it in their face. We haven't talked about in a while the fact that there is some sort of legislation in Congress, I think, to try and not derate, utilitize Twitter and social media platforms, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's a long way from where we are. So yeah, all of those people that are out there saying it's a private company, they can do whatever they want. Yeah, Elon Musk is basically saying, shove it, dude. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. This new CEO of Twitter not having a good go of it. I think he's been in power for like 6 months. Speaking of people being in power for probably not their entire term or tenure, dang, I probably should explain that joke. I don't think Joe Biden makes it through his 4 years. I feel like that's not a controversial statement, and yeah. But grim polling for the president coming out today. Biden's polling has cratered in the Quinnipiac poll. Quinnipiac, there are Twitter polls, and then there are serious polling organizations. Then there's some in the middle. Quinnipiac is a very serious poll. YouGov, serious poll. Biden's poll numbers out in the Quinnipiac poll today are dismal. 35% approval rating, which is far below wherever Trump ever was, minus the January 6th day that probably shouldn't count in the lasting poll. It was a big event that happened that was terrible and bad, and his polling number suffered for it. But outside of that, in terms of a normal presidential span, this is the lowest it has ever been for a president in a long time, 35% approval. The other side of that is pretty interesting also, 55% disapproval, which means there has to be Democrats and independents siding with Republicans saying, hey, I disapprove of this guy. So there's that. Part of the reason why people disapprove of him, and this wouldn't have been reflected in the poll that was released today, but yesterday, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said yesterday, that it will extend its nationwide mask mandate for passengers on planes and public transportation through May 3rd. I was on a plane yesterday. I was on 2 planes yesterday. Going to be on a plane today. Going to be on a plane on April 18th. April 18th was supposed to be the date set for, okay, we're done with this. Was super excited to fly on a plane without the legal obligation to wear a definitely real mask. The mask that I wear on planes is super definitely real and not mesh where you can see through or breathe through freely at all. But I was looking forward to not having to wear one on April 18th when I'm flying out to Nashville. And apparently I got to wear one again until May 3rd, citing the need to assess the impact of new coronavirus subvariants that is driving most of the COVID-19 infections in the U.S. That's a bunch of baloney. But will it ever end? The answer is probably no. The mask mandate was set to expire April 18th, but the Biden administration will keep the requirement in place for another 15 days amid the rise in cases driven by the new BA2.2 sublineage of Omicron variant, which makes up 85% of U.S. infections. Who the F cares? But a big thing that people should care about, and that has to do with the Biden administration, that has to do with... you know what? There's this clip that I want to play from, I think this is ABC. Let me play this clip first because I think it's hilarious. If you haven't been paying attention to the Biden administration, Jen Psaki, Biden, Blinken, really everybody has been trying to push this Putin price hike. Here's a fun clip for you from, I think it's NBC. I'm not entirely sure. Check this out.
President Biden is trying to label this Putin's price hike. But most Americans, according to an NBC News poll, are not buying that. Only 6% blame Putin. Most believe President Biden's policies are very much to blame.
So they've been pushing the Putin price hike for who knows how long. And polling would indicate that nobody buys that. Literally nobody. Like that guy said, the Biden administration has been pushing the Putin price hike. In reality, nobody's on that train. Nobody believes it. 6% of Americans think that that's actually what's happening. So that's hilarious in its own right. And hey, kudos to Americans for not buying that crap. And the reason they probably aren't buying that is because gas prices and inflation were already at record highs before Putin invaded Russia. So get out of here with that crap. But after this, I want to get to this thing. This is another big Biden story. Remember the Border Patrol agents that were accused of whipping migrants, corralling illegal immigrants? They were what actually was happening, and pretty much clear to everybody who looked into it, looked like border agents were corralling criminals committing a crime, which is their job, and whipping them, which would not have been good. Pretty much everybody realized that, okay, there's an explanation for that. The reins on the horses might look like whips if they're going fast and all that sort of stuff. Turns out that wasn't the case. In September of last year, President Biden was asked, hey, what's going on with the Border Patrol? Why are they whipping illegal immigrants? Here was his answer then. And then we got an update on that story. We got some closure finally, 6 months later. Check this out.
Given what we saw at the border this week, have you failed in that promise? And this is happening under your watch. Do you take responsibility for the chaos that's unfolding?
Of course I take responsibility. I'm president, but it was horrible what to see, as you saw. To see people treated like they did, horses barely running them over, people being strapped, it's outrageous. I promise you those people will pay. They will be, an investigation underway now, and there will be consequences. There will be consequences. It's an embarrassment, but it's beyond an embarrassment. It's dangerous. It's wrong. It sends the wrong message around the world. It sends the wrong message at home. It's simply not who we are.
Okay, so that story yesterday turned out to be entirely bunk. U.S. Border Patrol agents, let me get this screen up here. U.S. Border Patrol agents found no wrongdoing, or the Border Patrol self-examination, which is under the Biden administration's control, found that Border Patrol agents were not guilty of any wrongdoing. They were completely absolved, completely cleared from any wrongdoing whatsoever, as everyone expected. But Biden, the president, what did he say right there? It's an embarrassment. This is not how we should be doing things. Okay, so we shouldn't be doing things the correct way. It's effectively what the senile old man that sits in the White House is saying. But I did want to bring this clip on because, we don't have short-term memories here. We remember what politicians say, especially when what they say is insane. This is Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Maxine Waters of California, talking about this incident that turns out to be entirely cleared of any wrongdoing. This might be the worst thing she's ever said. She's said a bunch of crazy S. This might be the worst thing she has ever said. Check this out.
I'm pissed. I'm unhappy, and I'm not just unhappy with the cowboys who were running down Haitians and using their reins to whip them. I'm happy with the administration. We are following the Trump policy. He is the one that does not follow the Constitution and would not allow those seeking refuge to be able to petition to get into the country.
Here's
what the hell are we doing here? What we witnessed takes us back hundreds of years. What we witnessed was worse than what we witnessed in slavery.
So, that. So what we witnessed was worse than what we witnessed in slavery, says Maxine freaking Waters. Turns out, apparently, I'm not going to make that joke. That's probably pretty bad. It's true, but that's going to get taken out of context. Maxine Waters saying that something that inevitably was found no wrongdoing whatsoever was worse than slavery. Thank you, Congresswoman. Despite audacious attempts to malign U.S. border officials, Those who stood accused attacking of migrants have been cleared of any and all misconduct. The incident underwent a probe by the Customs and Border Protection Office of Professional Responsibility, OPR, which National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd revealed had yielded no evidence supporting the left-wing theory that agents whipped Haitian migrants. The Office of Professional Responsibility started their investigation and were compelled to give a statement. Once you compel somebody to give, basically they're cleared entirely of any wrongdoing. We said it at the time, and this is not a surprising story. I wanted to get to some Hunter stuff, but let me see a couple updates. What else is in the news? There's that NYC attacker was put in custody yesterday. So he's now thankfully in custody. Hunter Biden had some other. You know what? We're going to go big on the Hunter Biden stuff tomorrow. To give you a teaser-ish of the Hunter Biden story. The president of the United States, his son, Hunter Biden, that guy, was apparently using campaign dollars and he was paying off the family. Let's just say that. Hunter took some opportunities to increase the wealth of his family. Big story in the New York Post. We'll go big on that tomorrow. Also, we got Dave Rubin tomorrow talking about his new book, Back in the Dingy Bunker. So we appreciate. Look, I can't tell you enough. I really appreciate all of y'all taking the time to listen and watch every day. I know there's a couple thousand of you that do, and I really, really appreciate it. If you miss any segment of the show, you can check it out on the podcast. Just type in Daily Caller Live with Jobob. I don't know why I said it like that, Jobob. My name is Jobob. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media platforms. JOBOB at JOBOB, The Jobob Show, all of that. Facebook, social media. Sorry, Instagram, Twitter. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I think that's why the brain's putzing out a little bit. We'd love to appreciate a follow on any of those social media platforms. I am hilarious on Instagram and Twitter. Hopefully, going to get bought by Elon Musk, and yeah, that should be a good place coming here in a little bit. So, would appreciate a follow on any of those platforms. That's gonna do it for us today. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, different place, back in the Dingy Bunker. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. See you then. God bless America.